Imagine you're trapped in a burning building. Everyone's screaming, chaos everywhere. But here's the twist. The greatest philosophers in history would tell you this might be the perfect moment to practice absolute calm. Today, we're diving into 15 mind-bending situations where a true Stoic must resist every natural urge to react. Some of these scenarios will challenge everything you think you know about human nature. Buckle up because we're about to explore the ultimate test of mental fortitude. What makes a Stoic superhuman? Before we jump into our scenarios, let's understand what we're dealing with. The Stoics weren't emotionless robots. They were strategic masters of their own minds. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about choosing your battles wisely. Think of it like being a master chess player who sees 10 moves ahead while everyone else is just reacting to the last move. Situation 1. When someone attacks you personally. Picture this. You're at work and your colleague publicly humiliates you in front of the entire team. Your face burns with embarrassment, your fists clench. Here's where the Stoic magic happens. Epictetus taught that no one can hurt you without your permission. The insult is just sound waves hitting your eardrums. You decide what they mean. A true Stoic would think, this person's words reveal more about their character than mine. My worth isn't determined by their opinion. Not reacting doesn't make you weak, it makes you strategically superior. While they waste energy on drama, you can serve yours for what actually matters. Situation 2. Losing your life savings. Imagine checking your investment account and discovering everything's gone. Stock market crash, your retirement fund vanished. Your neighbor might scream, throw things, maybe even consider drastic actions. But a Stoic? They'd sit quietly and think, I never truly owned this money anyway. It was on loan from the universe. Seneca actually practiced this. He lived like a poor man for several days each month, just to remind himself that external things are temporary guests in our lives. The Stoic doesn't react because they understand that panic prevents clear thinking, and clear thinking is exactly what you need to rebuild. Situation 3. Betrayal by your closest friend. Your best friend for 20 years just backstabbed you, sold your secrets, ruined your reputation, maybe even stole your romantic partner. The natural reaction? Rage, revenge, plotting their destruction. But here's what makes this situation fascinating from a Stoic perspective. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does." The betrayal hurts, but your reaction to it determines whether it destroys you or strengthens you. A Stoic realizes that seeking revenge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Not reacting doesn't mean not caring. It means choosing wisdom over impulse. Situation 4. Being falsely accused. You're standing in court falsely accused of a crime you didn't commit. Evidence is stacked against you. Your reputation crumbles in real time. This scenario actually happened to Socrates, the philosophical grandfather of Stoicism. Instead of raging against the system, he used his trial as a teaching moment. The Stoic mindset here is profound. I cannot control what others believe about me, but I can control how I respond to their beliefs. Panic and anger cloud judgment precisely when you need crystal clear thinking. Not reacting preserves your mental energy for crafting the perfect defense, rather than wasting it on emotional outbursts that might actually make you look guilty. Situation 5. Losing your dream job. You've worked 15 years to become department head. Today they promoted someone else, someone younger, less experienced, who plays office politics better than you. Your ego screams for justice. You want to storm into the boss's office, maybe even quit dramatically. But here's what the ancient Stoics understood about attachment to status. Epictetus was literally a slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers. He taught that external titles and positions are like costumes in a play. Temporary roles, not your true identity. The Stoic doesn't react because they know that clinging to status is like trying to hold water in your hands. Better to focus on being excellent at whatever role you're currently playing. Situation 6. Chronic pain and suffering. You're diagnosed with a chronic condition. Every day brings pain that makes simple tasks feel like climbing mountains. Doctors offer no cure, only management. This isn't about pretending pain doesn't exist. That would be delusional. It's about understanding the difference between pain and suffering. Marcus Aurelius dealt with stomach problems his entire adult life, yet he never let physical discomfort determine his mental state. He wrote, "Pain is neither intolerable nor everlasting if you bear in mind that it has its limits." The Stoic doesn't react with despair because they separate the physical sensation from the story they tell themselves about it. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Situation 7. Complete social rejection. Your entire social circle has turned against you. Maybe you stood up for unpopular principles, maybe you made one crucial mistake. Now you're eating lunch alone every day. Humans are social creatures. Isolation triggers our deepest survival fears. The temptation is to compromise your values, to apologize for things you shouldn't apologize for, just to belong again. But Seneca taught something revolutionary. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Sometimes social rejection is the universe's way of redirecting you toward your authentic tribe. The Stoic doesn't react with desperation because they understand that trying to force acceptance is like trying to force love. It never works and it always backfires. Situation 8. Being threatened. Someone powerful is trying to intimidate you. Maybe it's a workplace bully, maybe someone with political connections. They're making it clear they can make your life very difficult. Your amygdala screams, fight or flight. But here's where Stoic philosophy becomes almost like a superpower. Cato the Younger faced down entire armies with this mindset. The Stoic principle: they can threaten my body, my possessions, even my life. But they cannot touch my character unless I let them. Fear is just information about potential futures, not commands you must obey. Not reacting to intimidation isn't cowardice, it's strategic. Bullies feed on fear reactions, starve them of that fuel, and they often move on to easier targets. Situation 9. Making a huge mistake. You've made a mistake that everyone will see. Maybe you sent the wrong email to 1,000 people. Maybe you miscalculated something crucial. Your perfectionist brain is having a complete meltdown. The natural reaction is shame spiral, self-attack, maybe even hiding from the consequences. But Stoics had a different relationship with mistakes entirely. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Mistakes are data points, not identity statements. The Stoic doesn't react with self-destruction because they know that beating yourself up is just another form of ego. It makes the mistake about you rather than about the learning opportunity it represents. Situation 10. Overwhelming success. Plot twist. Sometimes the hardest situation for a Stoic is success. You've just achieved everything you dreamed of. Money, recognition, admiration. Everyone's praising you. Most people think Stoicism is only about handling negative situations, but the ancient philosophers knew that success could be even more dangerous than failure. Seneca was incredibly wealthy, yet he practiced voluntary discomfort to remind himself that success is temporary. He knew that getting attached to praise is just as limiting as getting attached to criticism. The Stoic doesn't react to success with ego inflation because they understand that external achievements are like weather. They change. Your character is the only constant you can control. Situation 11. Impossible deadline. Everything's due yesterday. Your boss is breathing down your neck. Your phone won't stop buzzing. Everyone needs everything right now, and there's literally not enough hours in the day. The modern world is designed to keep us in constant reaction mode. Urgency addiction is real, and it makes us stupid. When we're rushing, we make more mistakes, which creates more urgency. Epictetus taught something that sounds almost magical. Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. Time works the same way. It's not about having more hours, it's about wanting fewer things from each hour. The Stoic doesn't react to artificial urgency because they know that panic makes everything take longer. Calm efficiency beats frantic rushing every single time. Situation 12, death of someone close. This might be the most challenging scenario of all. Someone you love deeply has died unexpectedly. Your world feels shattered. Grief hits like a tsunami. Let's be crystal clear. Stoicism doesn't mean not feeling grief. That would be inhuman. Seneca grieved deeply when his friend Lucilius faced loss. What Stoicism offers is this insight. Grief is love with nowhere to go. The pain honors the relationship, but destroying yourself doesn't honor their memory. The Stoic doesn't react by making grief their new identity because they know the person they lost would want them to continue living fully. The love remains. The attachment to having them physically present is what causes the suffering. Situation 13. Pressure to compromise your value. You're being pressured to do something that goes against your core principles. Maybe it's lying to save face. Maybe it's staying quiet about something wrong. Everyone's saying just this once, or everyone does it. This is where Stoicism becomes almost like moral armor. Cato the Younger literally chose death rather than compromise his principles under Julius Caesar. The Stoic understands that your integrity is the only thing that's truly yours. Everything else, money, reputation, relationships, can be taken away. But no one can make you compromise your character without your permission. Not reacting to pressure means not justifying, not explaining, not negotiating with people who are asking you to betray yourself. Sometimes the most powerful response is simply, no, I don't do that. Situation 14, information chaos. Your phone is exploding with notifications. Breaking news, social media drama, work emergencies, family group chats. Everyone wants your immediate attention for their crisis of the moment. The ancient Stoics never faced this specific challenge, but their principles are eerily relevant. They understood that attention is your most valuable resource. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." In our hyper-connected world, this advice is revolutionary. Most urgent information isn't actually urgent. It's just loud. The modern Stoic doesn't react to every notification because they know that constant reactivity trains your brain to be anxious. Choose what deserves your attention rather than letting everything demand it. Situation 15. World events beyond your control. Wars, pandemics, economic collapse, climate change. The world feels like it's falling apart. News cycles feed us disaster after disaster. Your anxiety about things you can't control is consuming your life. This is perhaps where Stoic philosophy shines brightest. The Stoics lived through plagues, wars, the collapse of republics. They developed tools specifically for navigating uncertainty. The fundamental insight: you can't control global events, but you can control your response to them. Worry is just ineffective preparation. Action in your sphere of influence is effective preparation. The Stoic doesn't react to global chaos with paralysis because they know that your family, your community, your immediate environment, that's where your power actually lies. Start there. Why non-reaction is actually the ultimate reaction. Here's what makes this whole concept mind-bending. Not reacting is a reaction. It's the most sophisticated reaction possible. When everyone else is spinning in emotional chaos, the person who remains calm becomes the eye of the storm. They become the reference point others look to for stability. Think about it. In every crisis throughout history, we remember the people who kept their heads while others lost theirs. Churchill during the Blitz, Gandhi facing the British Empire, Rosa Parks staying seated. They weren't emotionless, they were strategically emotional. They saved their reactions for moments when those reactions could actually create positive change. How to actually practice them. So how do you actually develop this superpower? The Stoics had specific exercises, and they're surprisingly practical. First, the pause practice. When something triggers you, count to 10 while asking, will this matter in 5 years? Most things won't. Second, the perspective shift. Ask yourself, what would Marcus Aurelius do in this situation? Or Gandhi? Or whoever embodies the calm strength you admire. Third, the control inventory. List what you can control versus what you can't. Spend energy only on the first list. Remember, this isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming a master of your own responses rather than a slave to your impulses. These 15 situations represent the ultimate test of human character. In each one, the natural reaction is often the destructive reaction. The Stoic path isn't easy. It's the hardest thing you can do. It requires you to act like the person you want to become, even when every instinct screams otherwise. But here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop reacting to everything, you finally start responding to what matters. You become unshakable, not because nothing affects you, but because you choose what affects you. The next time life tests you with one of these situations, remember, your reaction is your choice, and that choice is your power. What situation will you stop reacting to first? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into mastering your mind and your life.